This week's Growing, Eating, and Educating NanBop Farm Director Andrea Bushre takes us to the chickens and the latest project on the farm.
Andrea will be teaching us how to place temporary electric fencing. Let's check it out.
Hey guys, welcome back to Growing, Eating, and Educating. I'm your Farm Director, Andrea Bushre, and today we're going to talk about how we set up our temporary electric fencing. So we rotate our chickens around the farm every day. So the coop behind me, we move that every single day, which means we have to have fencing that goes around it, otherwise our chickens will be all over the place. So I'm going to show you today a little bit of how to do that yourself. We have this fence kind of already laid out a little bit. These usually come in a roll, so you've got your posts together and then your netting on the other side. So when you get it, you just unroll it and then start to lay out your fencing. These are called step-in posts. So at the bottom here, we have a little spot that we can just push the fence into the ground. Things to consider while you're doing this is to make sure the bottom of your fence is taut. So we're gonna pull it away from the one that you just placed and then stick our foot on the step-in post and push it in. When you're doing this, you wanna make sure that you're pulling it taut. You wanna make sure that you're not sticking your post into another net. If we were putting this up in tall grass, we would be dealing with a lot of shorts in our fencing. So when we electrify it, it wouldn't electrify very well. And so wherever you're putting the fence, you want to make sure that you're mowing around the perimeter where your fencing is going. The other thing to note is when you're setting up your fencing, to count how many posts you're putting out. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a gap in your fencing and they won't perfectly close. So you want to make sure that you're counting. So for example, what we have right now is 9 fence posts for the width and then 11 fence posts for the length. And that's just us kind of doing math as we're doing this to make sure that we have our fences perfectly connected at the end so that our corners can connect so that we have full charge throughout both of our fence rolls. This here is a black step-in post that we use for added stability. Same as putting in the white fence post you just push down. This is also northern Michigan, so there's a lot of rocks. The next thing that you want to do is make sure you connect your 2 different rolls together. So we put these metal clamps together so that we ensure that there's a continuous charge from one roll to the other. The other thing is that your rolls usually come with a string. And so this string is what helps us to kind of bridge this gap that you see here. So you just take it and bring it through this area and tie it to your black post. And all this is doing is sealing up the gap that chickens would otherwise get through. The other thing that you'll note is that if you look down the line, we have saggy fence posts. So what this black post also does is allow us to kind of tighten up the top of the fence by being able to just pull it and click it in. And then you have a solid fence and you're ready to keep going. The next step is to connect our fencer to the fencing. So you need to put in a ground rod so that we can properly ground out our fencing system. Then we hook our black part of the fencer to the ground, and then the red one connects to the metal clamp that we just put together to connect the fence. And then we just turn this on and we are good to go. This is just kind of how we do it on our farm. Every farm does this kind of thing differently. For more information about how to set up your fencing and where to get it, check out 9and10news.com.
Thank you, Andrea. Now, if you would like to follow Farm Director Andrea Bushre and the locally owned and operated NanBop Farm, they have a Facebook page and an Instagram. You can find it at NanBop Farm. NanBop posts frequently about all their events and what's growing on the farm. If you'd like to reach out to them with any questions, their email is info@nanbopfarm.